Welcome. The purpose of Israel's counterattack was puzzling. Amid the post-attack jubilation in Iran, the capital made a pivotal move that would cause a ruckus across the Middle East. Stay tuned for our analyst's special report, who foretold the outbreak of war in Ukraine weeks ago, so brace yourself. Two strategic locations in southern Syria were attacked by Israeli airplanes before the retaliatory strike against Iran. Attacking Iran's strategically vital locations in Dara and Swayda, F-16s launched an unexpected airstrike.
As the F-16s targeted Iranian early detection sites, do you believe this was a preemptive strike to prevent further escalation, or could it signify the start of a larger conflict?
The Iranian Revolutionary Guards placed great importance on these locations because they were home to radar and early missile detection sites. Iran used these sites primarily to track Israeli aviation activities in the northern region. Furthermore, F-16s launched unexpected attacks on southern Syrian airports controlled by the Revolutionary Guards. Warplanes from Iran were unable to keep tabs on air activity in northern Israel since they destroyed runways and sophisticated equipment during the attacks. And then the attacking F-16 swung around to head toward Iraq. The primary F-35 facility in southern Israel, Nevatim, also saw a big number of fighter jets take off at the same time. Aircraft like as F-35s and a gasoline tanker were among those that lifted off. These planes took off from this spot and flew straight for Iraq, the same direction the F-16s were going. As soon as they entered Iraqi airspace, tanker planes started circling the country. F-16 and F-35 fighter jets from the Israeli Air Force converged at this exact moment. A highly critical target in Babylon, southern Iraq, was struck with an airstrike immediately after these developments. According to reports, the jets successfully targeted a 7 or 9-story structure in Babylon during the airstrike. There was a meeting taking place inside the building, which is why it was targeted. The building was hosting a gathering for Kataib Hezbollah and other Iraqi organizations. With unwavering backing from Iran, Kataib Hezbollah has been attacking U.S. and regional allies, and it is among the groups responsible for the most attacks on American sites in Iraq.
Considering the advanced radar and air defense systems in Isfahan failed to detect the incoming F-35s, what does this tell us about the effectiveness of Iran's military infrastructure?
The truth is that this Iraqi organization has attacked Israel via drone as well. Since the F-35 believed that the building housing the meeting had air defense systems and sophisticated radars, it decided to attack the structure specifically. As a bastion, Iraq and other regional factions had reinforced Babylon. Even though there were air defense systems and radars in the area, the F-35 managed to strike the conference facility undetected. Iraqi air defense systems failed to identify the F-35 as a result. The tanker planes kept circling over western Iraq, an area with fewer air defense installations. The F-35s wasted little time refueling in midair and then launched another assault after the first one. According to reports, the F-16s were also defending the flying gasoline tanks at the same moment. A huge explosion happened in the Isfahan region of Iran right after the F-35 commenced its latest strike. While no one knows for sure what happened, rumors have circulated that the F-35 attacked without ever setting foot in Iranian airspace. According to some accounts, the F-35 attacked Iran as soon as it reached Iranian airspace. The most important part, though, is that the Iranian air defense systems were supposed to identify the attacking F-35, but they didn't. Iran has recently moved a huge percentage of its military to the western part of the nation in preparation for a potential attack on Israel. This is because the government has deployed a considerable number of military units in its western region. The Iranian military is still active in this region.
With Israeli jets apparently flying undetected through Iranian airspace, one must question, how will this breach impact the power dynamics in the Middle East?
If Iran wanted to be ready for an Israeli strike, this was a must-have point. Sources in Tehran were shocked to hear that the region's advanced radar and air defense systems hadn't picked up the approaching threat. Isfahan, the city where Iran has deployed the greatest security forces, was the intended target of the F-35 fighter fighters. According to Iranian authorities, there were explosions in different places following the attacks. The rationale for this was made clear. Supersonic explosions were discovered to have been created by the F-35 fighter jets or F-16s that breached Iranian airspace. The air defense systems were activated 30 minutes following the strike on Isfahan and started targeting unidentified objects in the vicinity. As a result, 30 minutes following the assault on Isfahan, the area once again heard explosions as Iranian air defense systems persisted in engaging unidentified aircraft objects. The Iranians were misled into thinking the major attack had started because of this, but the explosions were really generated by the air defense systems hitting their targets. The Iranians were caught off guard by this attack, since their air defense systems were activated fairly late, following the 3 targets hit in Isfahan. Flights out of Tehran were grounded to Isfahan and Natanz after the incident, while flights back into Tehran were also grounded. All flights were forced to turn eastward once Iran's air defense systems were up and running, thereby cutting off air travel in the country's western regions. According to Iranian sources, there were reports of ongoing explosions in various places, including Tehran.
After the strike on the Kataib-Hezbollah meeting in Babylon, do you think this will deter or provoke further actions from Iranian-backed militias?
Nobody knows for sure where these blasts are coming from. Some have hypothesized that low-flying fighter jets like the F-16 or F-35 could be responsible for the supersonic blasts. That Israel had launched a limited strike became clear as a result. Unfortunately, Iran was unable to identify the principal offender because it was unable to locate the aircraft that carried out the strike. Since Iran was unable to identify the attacking jets in neighboring Iraq, it was unable to identify the primary assailant. Additionally, Iran was unable to determine main culpability for the strike due to its inability to identify the attacking jets. Iran was left with little choice except to act on intelligence gathered from other nations as Israel refused to accept blame for the strike. The government in Tehran then claimed that the attack had been carried out by unnamed jets. Since Iran cannot determine which country is launching the attack, it will be unable to respond even if those who are aware of it publicly announce it. Iran claims it has no idea who launched the attack. Air defense systems in Iran, according to Iranian authorities, shot down drones fired from inside the nation. According to reports from Iranian sources, this suggests that infiltrating groups or organizations used drones in their attacks. It was also unfounded, although local sources claimed that infiltration elements within Iran included Mossad. This led open intelligence sources to conclude that Iran is a country that has been compromised. After these attacks, Iranian media started to minimize and even make fun of how serious it was. The Iranian media, however, were unable to report either the breach of Iranian airspace or the substantial infiltration that had taken place inside the nation.
Given the confusion and delayed response by Iran's air defenses, what should Iran's next move be in this high-stakes chess game of regional security?
Even though Iran's air defense systems failed to identify the attacking jets, the government in Tehran began to hide this truth as well. This is due to Tehran's refusal to recognize the existence of jets operating within its airspace. Senior Iranian authorities convened for a crucial discussion after the incident. Suddenly, after this attack, nothing good happened. Travel to Iraq and Iran was temporarily halted by several airlines. An impending incident in Iraq was the reason given by the largest airline in the world for the abrupt cancellation of its flights to the country. A big attack was launched on Iranian proxy militias in Iraq after this event. Iranian proxy organizations' General Command headquarters and other regional military bases were targeted by the airstrikes. Last night, explosions at the Hasht al-Shabi's Kalsu facility in Babel province, eastern Iraq, were allegedly triggered by an Israeli airstrike, according to a senior Iraqi official. Approximately 5 drone attacks on the Hasht al-Shabi Kalsu base were the cause of the initial explosions at the General Command headquarters and the base, according to the head of the Babel Province Security Council in eastern Iraq. Paramilitary group Hasht al-Shabi, sponsored by Iran, has bases all over Iraq and more than 200,000 militants. Nevertheless, it came to light that the bombing on Babylon, the most major bastion of Hasht al-Shabi, caused a great deal of casualties. Donating a wonderful thanks is a great way to demonstrate your support and ensure that we can keep offering information. Another video is now at its conclusion. Give us a thumbs up by liking the video. You can easily stay updated on new videos by subscribing. Peace be with you everyone.
Thank you for watching the full video. We are Rio G Media. Our only job is to keep our finger on the pulse of the war. Please write in the comments if you have thoughts on the questions we ask. If you want to support us, just subscribe and like the video.